look at all these car parts. And yes, they are all for the Maserati-Benz build. It might seem like there hasn't been a lot happening with that thing, but behind the scenes I have been doing a lot of thinking and also got a whole bunch of parts for the build. Now this isn't all the parts that we will need to build this thing or to finish the build. We still need like small things like injectors, expensive things, injectors, and we still need a standalone ECU, but I mean I have two power mods ECUs. I'm sure I can make a plan if I have to, but let's start over on that side. We have the intake manifold ready to be bolted up, and then next to that we have the new throttle body, 76mm throttle body if I'm not mistaken. We also have a downpipe with a O2 bung ready to go, along with a little screamer pipe. Next up is the turbo manifold, so that's going to save a lot of time. So we have that ready to bolt onto the engine and be ready to go. And then over here we do have the flywheel, pressure plate, everything like that for the clutch. We also do have a slave cylinder, master cylinder ready to go. We have the brake booster and the starter. We even have an intercooler. So this is an intercooler out of a Nissan Navara, but hopefully in this video we can get started on that and I'll explain a little bit more what we're going to be doing. And then over here we have the oil pan. That's also something I want to get started on this video. I've been saying I want to get started on that for the longest time, but it is very time consuming and tedious work to get this perfect. Then behind me we have a radiator, and I also already got started on the shroud. Just want to finish that up also in this video. And we got a radiator fan. And then last but not least, when you look over there, I finally got the new shock absorber so we can finish up the front suspension of the car. As you saw a couple of videos ago, I went through the car's entire suspension and we are finally ready to put everything back together again and get the car back onto the ground. But like I said in this video, I want to focus on three things. So sort out or get the intercooler ready. Then I want to at least get the flange for the new oil pan ready to go so we can start taking some measurements, because we are going to be making a rear pickup oil pan because the steering rack and everything is in the way of this one. And hopefully I get the time to finish up the radiator. I already went ahead and bent these. 3mm thick aluminium turned out to be quite more difficult to bend, but at least I got that done. So we just need to get the hole for the radiator fan, get that mounted on there, and then it should be done. First things first, let's sort out the intercooler. So like I said, Nissan Navara intercooler, but we are only going to be using the core. So I'm going to be cutting these little side pieces off and then we'll be building our own. We can start planning on how these are going to look and then we'll move on to the oil pan flange. there we have it. Radiator is done, and also as you saw, we got that new oil pan flange ready, and it's on the car ready to get measured and get started on that. And then we got that intercooler cut up so that we can build some new end tanks. But unfortunately, that's about as far as we're going to get for this week. I only had 2 days to spend on this because I have been doing some other things behind the scenes. I've been wanting to do or start playing around with something for a very long time, and I finally got around to doing it. So it's called an infinity mirror, and here it is. I know it has nothing to do with cars, but I think this is a really cool idea. So yeah, I built that and I have it over here in the fireplace just as a nice little table. Anyway, back to car things. Now that we have the intercooler and the radiator almost ready, we still need to build some mounting points for them, brackets and everything. New brackets for the bumper, keep everything in place. I do have the headlights in there. I did make some little brackets for that. So that's almost ready. And then also getting back to the interior. So I always enjoy your guys' comments. I can't think of everything, so I didn't even think about the sun. When it hits that, it's gonna be kind of blinding. So I do have this carbon fibre wrap instead of painting it. It's just a bit different, and I think it could look pretty cool. And then one last thing before we end this video off, I have some really bad news on the Benz, but more on that next time. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and then I'll see you in the next one.